All right.
Hi, and welcome to Verna Street Dance Studio. We are live at Hunting Moon Pow Wow in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I am here today with Kat. She approached me and said that she watches us on YouTube, so definitely you should too. And I'm so glad to meet her because we have a dressing room here that we're able to come in and I can personally show her some of the moves and how to execute them in a good way in person. So thank you, YouTube, and we're gonna get back to our private class here. So we were just talking about not having a lot of moves. You don't have to have a lot of moves to be an elegant and graceful dancer. Just make sure that the moves that you have, you execute them in a way that is full of confidence and it repeats. Honestly, not having so many moves makes it look simple and it's bold. Taking the move at least 4 times in one direction and then cutting in another direction is better than jumping around from move to move. It shows balance and it shows precision. So we went through the crisscross already. We did it backwards. We even did it diagonally. And now we're gonna do the side to side. You can take these basic moves and simply do them 1 on each side, minimum of 4, and then take the same move and add it, do it 2 times on one side. But make sure that you cut in a new direction because it looks better that way, okay? So let's show them the side to side. We'll do 4 in place, which is just our 1, 2. Then we'll do the side to side, side to side, 4. Then we're gonna cut to a new direction and do it twice on one side, twice on the other side, and we'll do that 4 times.
Okay.
Everything's in 4s because 4 is balanced. There are 4 leads in a song, and 4 is just a good count. It's a good way to start. So let's start with 4 in place, 4 side to side, then double side to side 4 times. In 1, 2, start right now. 1, 2, side to side here. Side, side, side. Now double. Side, 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 side. Stop right there. Awesome. Good job. Okay, so it just frees your mind up from it being so complicated a lot of times in life. And we have talked about how the arena is a semblance, or I don't know if I'm saying the same word, but it's the same as our life. We dance and we show what we're going through in our lives through that dance. So let's just take it, make it simple because there's just so much busyness going on in the world. And it will be a lot better of an experience. So the next move we're gonna do, would you like to do the pitter pat or do you want to try the L? Okay, we'll wait on the pitter pat, but let's take the L, which is simply the side, then you come back to rest, and then heel and back. The reason why I recommend side, heel is because for me and a lot of dancers, it's easier to push off of the foot on the heel. If you do toe to toe, so let's say you said side, then toe, then you can't push back off of that. But when you come off the heel, then you can.
Yep.
Okay, and it's a really fun move to do. We can also take that L, and that's where we got the side to side from, and then we can cut it in half the other way and just do heel. So it's a good combo move that looks really good. So we're gonna do 4 in place, and then remember it's side, tap, heel, tap. Again, side, tap, heel, tap. Keeping the toe, it's actually the ball of your foot where you slide it out will give you better traction. It's also easier to do. If you lift and step out, it's a lot more energy and it can kind of look choppy. Sliding and then heel will be the best way to physically, and it looks a lot better. So let's do 4 in place to warm it up, and then we'll go side, then heel, which is called the L. In 1, 2, start right now. 1, 2, side, heel, now. Side, then heel, side, then heel, side, then heel. Other side now. Side, then heel, side, then heel, side, then heel. Let's move it right here. Side, then heel, side, then heel, side, then heel. Stop right there. It's okay. If you don't get the move the first time, Keep practicing. You didn't walk the first time you tried, so don't get discouraged. If the move, even after practice, is still really hard for you to do, maybe you should wait on it till you feel more comfortable. There's nothing wrong with saying, okay, let me just wait on that and then practice it some more, but don't not challenge yourself to, you know, make your moves more advanced. All right, so we talked about how we took the L and we made it the side to side. Now let's just do the heel. So it is 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Stop right there. This move is such a cool move because it can be done on the honor beats, boom, boom, and you can bring the fan up and it just looks strong. You can also move forward with the move. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and backwards. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, and 2. And you can even take the heel and just pivot the foot out. So let's go this way. So it's 1, 2, 1, 2. These moves you can rearrange no matter what. I teach every dancer the same moves. And they uniquely transform them into their own move. It's just beautiful. It's a beautiful part of dance. So let's try the heel. We're gonna do 4 in place, then we're gonna go forward with it 4 and we'll stop right there. When you have a fan and you're dancing contemporary, it's not just your feet that are dancing, it's not. Yes, we do need to keep a centered core and keep your shoulders back, strong posture, and that's in life and in the circle, but we also can move our heads. They can be connected. I say the head, the arm, and the leg is all connected, and you're connected to that drum. So it doesn't have to be, that's really stiff, okay? Dance with it, get smooth with it. Don't get too crazy with it, but have that flow. Look in the direction that you're dancing, and then turn your head. It shows like this confidence that you can't describe it, and you will definitely notice the difference. So let's do 4 in place, and then if we had a fan, we could bob our fan with the move, and then we're gonna come forward for 4. Ready? We're gonna do 4 in place first, then 4 heels, then 4 forward heels. In 1, 2, 4 in place. 1, 2, heel right here. Heel, 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 heel. Now forward, heel, heel. Stop right there. Very nice. Good job. So we took the L, that's 1, then the side to side, that's 2, then the double side, that's 3, then the heel, that's 4. And then if you repeat them, doing one set, the first 4 set, you know, a 4 in place, then cut to a different direction, then cut to a different direction, you will see that song will be over before you know it. And then you're not complicating it. You're not getting, I mean, you're gonna get nervous, but you're not like, oh my God, and like all over the place. So I say to my dancers, don't complicate things because life is complicated enough. Okay, so we stick to healing first as a jingle dress dancer. Thank you, Kat. All right, thank you, that was awesome. So then challenge yourselves, keep in touch. I have been missing from YouTube for a while, but we'll be back with some new classes. And so now I'm gonna show her a more complex move that she can work towards in the future. So it's a lot of footwork is what dancing and powwow, the more footwork is, it's awesome. But for a jingle dress dancer, you're really gonna have to make sure that you don't throw too much fancy as far as never spin. I teach don't spin in a circle. Now you can turn backwards in a half circle, 2, 3, 4, but don't spin, because that's what fancy shawl dancers do, and it's not accepted. With the head movement, yes, it looks awesome, and I say it's icing to the cake when that dancer is 1, 2. See how my head is moving from side to side? But even myself, I can get too, because I'm a fancy shawl dancer. So make sure, like a mirror is great, and record yourself. Even when you're practicing, record it, and then watch YouTube, because that's the best way to get better. When you can visually see what mistakes or where you could have done better, and then you can see the other dancers is just a really good resource. So keeping it controlled, but then still showing the confidence of, hey, I deserve to be in the circle, so I can look here, then look, then look. Stop right there. Adds icing. You will definitely see that, and holding that head up. So you've never tried the pitter pat, right?
Not successfully.
Not successfully.
No.
Okay. Let's try it then. Okay, I'm gonna show you. Okay, the pitter pat can be, it is a simple move, but it can be confusing. It gets confusing, especially if you're alternating. The easiest way, honestly, is to alternate from one to the next. The reason why I say it's easier is because it's not as stressful physically, because you're alternating the muscle groups, so it's not so much stress on just one leg, because you'll feel the burn. Especially in a side step, you'll feel that burn on that one side, because you're doing the same thing over and over. So it can be confusing, because honestly, on the pitter pat, you start from rest, and you lift up, and then you tap, and then you can heel it here, and then back, then heel it, then back, but that can get you off. I've noticed that, okay? So cross, then if you want to heel here, but then when you come back to here, you might need to pull up again instead of hitting the heel to stay on. But the best way to get warmed up for the pitter pat is to practice the crossover, okay? The crossover is usually done in fancy, but it's a jingle move. Just tone it down. So we take the right foot up, it's in the air, and then we tap, and then up and back. That way we're not getting confused with that heel. I think that's what the problem that we're running into, because it's quite a few of my students that get off on that move, so we understand. So starting with the crossover, and you don't want to kick up too high because we are in jingle mode, and I don't think that you physically can, because those jingle dresses get pretty heavy down here. So we keep it lower or closer to our body, so it's up, then tap, then up, then back. Let's switch, up, then tap, up, then back, okay? Let's try that. So we'll do 4 in place, and then we'll do the crossover. In 1, 2, 4, in place. 1, 2, cross over now. 1 and back, 2 and back, 1 and back. 1 more set. 1 and back, 2 and back, 3 and back. Stop right there. Awesome. Adding that extra bend in the body shows this is my move, okay? Okay, so it doesn't have to be complicated. I've seen a lot of dancers that have holy smokes, how they do that, you know? But if it works for them, then that's great. But I found for myself that I really get nervous out there. And there's so many dancers, and it's so fun, but then it's like, oh my God, you know, it's overwhelming. Slow the mind down, and don't forget to breathe. Because a lot of us hold our breath when we're nervous or we're in a tense situation. We tense up. If we can learn to breathe, which I really learned from yoga, then it's easier. You have to breathe, because otherwise there's no oxygen getting to your muscles, and you get tenser and cramped, and you get more tired. So that's a definite thing. You have to breathe. Breathing fire breath. You'll learn this if you ever try yoga. You come here, and then you breathe in your nose, and you blow out fast. So that will pump you up right before, and then go out. You'll see that now your lungs, you have energy. I don't know what it is, but the fire breath works. Try the fire breath before your contest or before grand entry to open up the lungs, and then exhale. And remember, we're here to heal and have fun. Okay, so let's try. We practiced crisscross. We did side to side. Then we did with the L.
Yes.
Are you comfortable with the L yet, or do you want to wait?
Yeah, I can.
Sure. We're gonna try it. Okay.
Yes.
So it's 4 in place, followed by 4 crisscross, followed by 4 in place. Let's do 4 in place in between each move. Then we're gonna go side, 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 side. 4 in place, followed by the double side. So that's 2, then 2. Then 2, then 2, then we'll do 4 in place, then we'll do the crossover.
Okay.
Okay? So let's move with it. You have a fan, here we go. And we're gonna play Should we play music with it? We should. We always need the drum. The drum is our heartbeat. We thank all the drums across North America, Indian country. We love you, even though in fancy you trick us. No, let's see. Northern Cree is beautiful. Cree jingle. This is how simple it is. Go on YouTube, type in women's jingle. Tons of videos, watch them. I'm addicted to it, I can't stop watching it. And listen to the songs. For jingle, it's not gonna be trick songs. So even more so, you can be more relaxed and in your groove. The side steps, we're gonna talk about that. I did some research while we were here. So let's play this. Skip the survey. I'm just gonna put it. Can you hear? Yeah. Ready? 1, 2, start right now. 1, 2, crisscross now. 1, 2, 4 in place. 1, 2, side to side here. Side, 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 side. 4 in place. 1, 2, double tap here. Side, 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 side. 4 in place. 1, 2, cross over now. 1, 2, raise the fan here. 3, one more set. 1, 2, 3. Stop right there. Beautiful. You went through one verse, and honestly, it's not a move until it's done 4 times. You could have done that crisscross way more. But right there, if you took those 4 moves, did the crisscross, the first verse, second verse side to side, third verse, your crossover, and then in the 4th verse, move after those 3 moves, move after move, you're good. You don't need to complicate it. As you grow as a dancer, naturally more moves. Naturally, you're going to try those extra contemporary moves or this new move that you like that someone did, but just make sure that you make it unique and confident in your own skin. All right, now we are going to talk about the sidestep. The sidestep is such a beautiful dance. It will be almost a guarantee in adults and even teens that you will get that as a secondary song. That's the only type of secondary song that you will get as a jingle dress dancer. Now, I have wondered for quite some time, and I've asked quite a few singers what the tail meant. And that's when at the end of the 4th verse, it stops, and then it picks up again. Now, in Southern Straight, traditionally, you were supposed to be a tail dancer where you earned that right. You went to their ceremony and you became a tail dancer. So when that tail picks up, the Southern Straight, they start dancing again. Now, that we have brought that into powwow, even if you're not a tail dancer, I have seen in contests where all of the straight dancers, no matter what, have danced to the tail. But you should take the time, go to Oklahoma if you're a Southern dancer and go to the tail dances, because I would want to have that, credential in order to be able to do that. And I definitely would want to be able to experience that, because that's so much of who we are. We don't just talk about it or pretend about it or take someone's designs. We go and we learn and we have our own way. So learn about your own tribe, but then with that, learn about the origin in your own dance. So the jingle dress comes from the Ojibwe or the Anishinaabe people. They're from the Great Lakes area. The original story I've always heard for years was that a man, and back in the day, his entire tribe was sick, and so he had a dream that his daughters would make this dress that held deer toes in rows, and they would do the steps, which are the 1, 2, shuffle, and they shuffled their feet. That was the only move they did, and in repetition with the prayer of their heart and believing it with all of the faith, those girls made those dresses and they danced that dance and they healed their people, and that still exists. It doesn't matter that it's 2019. You believe it, it will be, it will, and it is. So even though we are dancing for money, it's contest, or that doesn't take away the prayer. It doesn't. And I just wanted to clarify that, because I do teach you to be a better dancer competitively, but then I do want to make sure that you know where it comes from. So then with that, it grew into this beautiful dance that we have today. And that contemporary has the fan, you know, with the extra movements, and we wear the plumes on the top, whereas old style are hands on hips and just stick to the shuffle. I've seen a few throw in a few basic moves, but they honor on the honor beats by looking down. We have our fan that we raise and we send those prayers. So either way, it's a good dance. And if it's a competition, I've seen where an old style that only had that one move has beat a contemporary with a ton of moves. So that goes to show that you don't need to complicate it. Okay, so just being confident in the moves that you have, being confident in the decisions that you make, in the skin that you're in, is what's important. Okay, we might look at a dancer and say, oh my God, I love the way she dances, or I love her dress. That's great, but then transform that into. So now with the sidestep, it's hard for you because the songs are just getting faster. Okay, it's hard to separate your foot and snap back, and with that quick of a beat. Being up on your toes, once you go on your toes in the beginning, you've committed. So that if you go back down, they can tell, and it makes you look tired. Start where you can finish, okay? So if you're here, I mean, that's fine. That's fine. You don't have to be here. It's fine where you are at and be comfortable in that. So I say to, I do it easiest way is I bounce. So I 1, 2, 1, 2. I'm not making a lot of movement this way, but I'm bouncing. The bounce is very important because those jingles making that movement is what it's about. That's the healing. Hi baby, come here. I also have heard a second story that the sound of the jingles, say hi. The sound of the jingles sounds like the Northern Lights. I didn't know that the Northern Lights had a sound, but it's a shoo, 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 shoo. The closer you get to the north, then you can actually hear it and feel it. And those Northern Lights are a part of the Anishinaabe. That was where they lived. Right. So those jingles make them dance. I would suggest that if you're worried about finishing the song strong, then worry more about your bounce instead of how far you go, okay? Traditionally, you're not supposed to pass the person to your left, and we're supposed to go always clockwise, one with the earth. However, in competition settings, it's a little different. But if you're in that area, you better pay attention. Don't pass the person to your left because it's frowned upon. It's not okay. You can cut. If there's a person right here, it's stacked in the arena, or it's just congested, there's not a lot of room, don't stay in that one line. Cut up the hill, I say, and draw it out and come back down, okay, instead of passing them. It also shows more dimension. Instead of just staying strict to that circle, you can cut in and move your head as well. Look that way or look this way and keep your body going that way. It will take your breath away. It really will when you watch that dancer with that type of control. Hi, baby. Mishkanani. Oh, she's walking now. She's dancing now. She danced Jingle yesterday. It was so cute. So I'm going to play a sidestep from Northern Cree. We are not claiming this music. They have their own copyrights, and so I just wanted to say that. But you can purchase their music on Spotify and buy their CDs. Just look them up. Let's see, sidestep. Oh, and then back to the tail. I gave some tobacco and some gifts, and they told me that when they do the big drum, which the big drum is the ceremonial drums that are not at powwow, and that's where this came from, that they were always told to sing the tail. Now, I was also told that during that tail, that the women can do their calls or lulu, and with that, they could go forward, side to side, but they couldn't just go backwards. So it's at the tail, it's like, I don't know, it's like an extra. That's what I was told from Kevion Kingberg. Thank you, by the way. And he sings with Battle River. He is from Minnesota. And so he told me that it was because we were taught to sing that tail, and it came from the big drum ceremony. So I learned a lot here at, are you ready? Hunting Moon. It's also important, ask questions. I know it's scary, but just ask them. It's also good conversation. Okay. Here is a sidestep. Okay, so feet are together, okay? And we bounce in and we hop. So ready, begin. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Turn up the hill. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Here comes that honor beat. Ready, go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Bring it down whenever you're ready. Smooth. Then turn. Stop right there. Very good. Don't worry about making a big hop. And if you do separate it, that's going to be really hard to snap that foot back when it gets super fast to the fourth and then on the tail. So I hope that these tips helped you.
Immensely.
So glad to have met you. She heard my loud voice in the bathroom. Are you Verna? So it was cool. So subscribe, like, and share, and hopefully we can come to a powwow near you, or you can book us for a workshop. So thank you, Ski from Hunting Moon.